Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Evolved. You want to stay right with me? I've got a great episode tonight, so don't go nowhere. Stay right with me, and we'll be right back.
The information provided in this podcast is not intended to constitute legal advice. Instead, this podcast takes full responsibility for its own content shared. Music acknowledges and credits used in this episode are the rights of the artist, royalty-free music used with permission granted. This podcast may offer links to other sites, thereby enabling you to leave this site and go directly to the link site. This podcast is not responsible for the content of any linked site. Such links are for the convenience of the user visiting this podcast. This podcast isn't responsible for loss or damages or misinformation provided from those links shared. All shared links resources have been validated by the site provider.
All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this episode. Like I said, tonight we have got a wonderful episode. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to Evolved Podcast, the podcast that builds one another up. Share your opinions, your thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and your feelings, where you're never outcast for being who you are. Welcome, and you better believe it. So, how are you? We are here with another episode, and this episode I wanted to take a moment and reflect on sharing my thoughts, and then I wanted to do another episode later. I'll bring another episode in. We'll talk about I wanted to do a part 2 on elderly, take some time and discuss some truths on elderly care. I'm always doing awareness on domestic abuse and human trafficking. Well, I don't want to forget about elderly abuse as well, because that is something that also need to be have awareness in. But before that, let me share with you a moment that I like to reflect with you. Shall we begin? Okay. In the light of day, tell me, how do I get back to where I was? The days of bright sunshine and calm mornings, the days I'd wear my wool plaid skirt and a wool sweater off to Sunday service, to hear the sounds of worship and the sermon from an excited pastor. In the light of day, I enjoyed those days where my peace meant visiting the shore of the ocean, riding down to it from a Montauk Avenue, watching the lighthouse so far out onto the ocean as the birds sing and the waves crashing against the shore. I can even see the Mayberry Hotel from my view, and not to mention the nice fresh air, so beautiful, are the voices of laughter and joggers running. You can hear the footsteps in the light of day. This was the beauty I saw, although it was slowly discovered, and I wouldn't take back a thing. This place was where I learned who I had become and who I will always be. It's hard not being able to enjoy who I am. That is peace, which gave me that even on a difficult day. I could always find that within me. Within my surroundings, the people, how you learn to enjoy the difference in one another without being judgmental or become filled with hate. I learned to enjoy the difference in another person. I miss what I am, and I miss the surroundings that taught me who I needed to become, the beauty of another city and state that also shared the exact same. to embrace and be grateful for what we find in other places and people. Not everyone will be as we envision them to be. Not everyone will share our preferences or our religion, what faith we may be. It's a choice to learn what is different from what we are. But when we do learn, we can't force our way onto others. It's more appreciative if we can accept the differences in each other, not hate, not make a war or fight because of our differences, not place a person into chains and concrete and steel because we can't learn to embrace and tolerate the differences of opinions and way of life. People aren't pawns. People aren't for sale. People aren't objects. People are humans with the free will to do who they, to be who they are. No person or religion or cult or gangs really don't have the legal right to own another human being. It's illegal. And it's a felony charge with almost a life sentence. We have to learn that we can become brainwashed by what would you rather do, what is right, and not be criminally persecuted in court of law, in the court of law with the consequences of a life sentence, or end up doing that sentence because one would rather follow and do what is wrong than what is right. Until we learn that every decision we make will be a choice and a chance to do what is right and a chance to make it right. Life can be hard and can get hard, but it will only become harder doing what is wrong. I would rather do what is right, even if I am judged wrong by my peers, called names and so forth. But I know that in the end, I'll have done the right thing. Egos die, and sometimes they die with the person because a person never learned just how big and bad an ego can get. So in the light of day, I can only hope that you find the shine from your sun and know it was meant for you. You can be that sun that shines for someone who you learned to accept and know and be willing to embrace their differences as well as make a new friend. This, my friend, is dedicated to you. Thank you.